All right, we are streaming live on Facebook with saxophonist Mindi Abair. Mindi, it is so great to see you. This is Kurt with Woodwind and Brasswind. We were just talking. It's been a couple years since we've crossed paths, and it feels like it was yesterday. And so great to reconnect and see what you're up to. Tell us a little bit about kind of what you've been doing during this stay-at-home period. I know for touring musicians like you, this has got to be a really different experience.
Well, first of all, thanks for doing this. It's so nice to see you, and we've been friends for a long time. So this is just a great chance to catch up, and selfishly to just spend time with you and have fun and get to talk some dorky sax stuff too, which doesn't happen every day in my house. So this is a really welcome reprieve here. So thanks for having me on. You know what? This has been a really crazy time, and I know we all have said that, but I'm trying to really embrace the beauty of it. It's easy to kind of freak out and know that normal is not normal for a while. I mean, as an artist who plays on the road 24/7, 365 days a year, we're going somewhere. It's weird to see everything go away. And it all went away. I mean, everything we had from March all the way, people are kind of starting to book October or November, December, and thinking maybe we'll be okay for that. But to watch your whole calendar go away is really trippy. But I've had a good time being at home. We've done these Tuesday night Facebook Live sessions. I've called it my wine and music session. My husband's in the wine business, and we have a wine company together that's music and wine. And so I'll play songs from my living room, and he'll come in and have a little wine intermission. So, we drink, we play, it's cool. And that's kept me connected to a lot of my fans and people who were going to come out to concerts. And it reminds me what I do too. It gives me a day of the week that's really fun to see everyone, and I get to put together a set list and kind of pretend I'm on the road, but still have the comforts of
And
home.
solo saxophone a little bit different too, being just kind of you alone there on stage, no band, no nothing. You've got to carry the whole show.
That is a weird aspect, and I've seen people do different kind of Facebook Live situations. But I really felt like, you know what? A lot of people don't get to hear what a song is like, just, you playing. I've got my band, and I love my band. I miss my band. But it is a totally different feeling to be in front of someone just playing saxophone and just playing the melody of a song. So it's been cool to kind of pick songs from my catalog and then pick songs from other people's catalogs that I love and do them just, totally no music behind me. I've chosen a piano song every week because I play piano, not great, but I've always, played it as an instrument to write on. But every week I'm like, okay, I'll sing a song on piano and figure out kind of which one speaks to me this week. So mix it up a little bit. So it's been really fun to kind of do that and have it be the unplugged. I think it has been different for people, and they've responded.
Well, and a little scary. It's just your saxophone sound, no effects, no microphone, no monitors. It's you and the saxophone. So good for you. I tune in every week. I love it. It's amazing. It's just kind of a fun thing. A lot of musicians are taking this time to do a lot of recording. Sales of audio interfaces, microphone software, absolutely booming. This is better than holiday, and it's a great chance for musicians to take this time and make music. And I understand you've been doing the same. You had just recorded tracks for a new album, right?
Okay, I am exactly what you just described. Because, I've always been the person that, I've got my band. I don't need to be a great keyboard player. I've got Rodney Lee in my band. He's the best keyboard player on the planet. And I don't need to play guitar. I've got the best guitarists known to man, and I don't need to know how to press the buttons. I've got people to do that are awesome. Well, now I need to do that. So I bought an audio interface and hooked it up to my computer. And I have literally been in my closet recording vocals for my new record, because we went in, it was the week before everyone went shelter in place here in California. So it was the very beginning of March. And we went in the studio. It was a few of my band guys, Ava Boreal Jr. and Sean Hurley and Rodney Lee and Tim Pierce, just amazing, amazing musicians. And we recorded 99% of my new record. And it's a solo record. It's about half instrumental, half vocal, and it's reminiscent of the real melodic stuff that I had done for a long time, but really incorporates kind of the bluesy, rootsy aspects of the last couple records I've made more as a blues rock artist. And so it was a super fun record to make, but I had a sinus infection when we recorded it. So the one thing I didn't get were a few of the vocals, because I was just kind of, you know, a little not there, not 100%. So I'm in my closet now, recording and sending the tracks to my engineer, and he's sending me back mixes or telling me, you know, oh, stand back further from the mic. I'm learning so much, but it is really crazy to record something that, you know, I'm used to being in a studio with people saying, you know, that wasn't a great take another one, or that one had a lot of feeling, or you get this instant gratification of the back and forth, but yet I'm doing it. And it is fun to be able to create at home. I don't need anyone else, and I don't need to be in an expensive studio. I think this is going to change people's realities, because it's changing mine.
Yeah, certainly a lot of artists are going to have a backlog of tunes now that they've written and been working on during this period, that hopefully coming out of this will be some amazing creative projects. And it sounds like yours will be exactly one of those. You'll hear that recording and say, I sang that in my closet. And it'll bring back that memory. That's amazing. I can't wait to hear it when it's ready to be released. I'm interested. You mentioned earlier on your Tuesday night Facebook Live sessions, it's a kind of saxophone with a whine component to this. How did the whine part of your interest evolve? Is that something that's always been there, or is that something kind of recently that has really come to the forefront?
You know what? I've always loved wine. You know, I've always been into kind of learning about it. It's like music, it's like art, you know, different types of wine, different regions, they're all kind of different, but I was never necessarily the amazing aficionado. I just loved learning about it. I was respectful of it. But 7 years ago, I was set up on a blind date with my now husband, Eric Guerra. Dave Cause was nice enough to hook that up, and, you know, a little saxophone royalty tells you, you know, the guy who makes my wine is pretty cool. I think you guys would hit it off.
Dave
So,
has his hands in everything, doesn't he?
oh my God. Yeah. It's just, you know, love. So we did hit it off. And Dave Cause actually did the officiating and married us last year, almost a year ago now. And so here I was in the wine world. Eric has run wineries for his whole career. So he's been the head of marketing or the head of a brand, you know, for people like Mum Napa and Kendall Jackson, and, you know, just really cool wineries. So all of a sudden I was, you know, at parties and hanging out with his friends with some of the coolest wine on the planet. That kind of opens your mind. It was like, whoa. So we finally came to the decision, you know, we sit around and drink a bottle of wine at night, and invariably I'm coming up with a song list for it. Like, this is some, you know, big red Cabernet. This is soul music to me. I mean, I think of everything in music terms like you do, right? I mean, everything is music. So, you know, the Cabernet becomes like soul music. So I'm, you know, spinning some Sam Cooke and some Otis Redding and some Booker T. Jones, and, you know, it just makes sense. So we figured if we like to do that and drink wine and set it to music that other people would too. So we came up with a wine club. We ship wine out to our members 4 times a year, and it's great. I don't have to be a wine person. It's him. He's cool. And then he doesn't have to be the music person. I take care of that. So we kind of complete each other, and we send out music with paired playlists, and it's super fun. So yeah, it's come along kind of in the last couple of years that wine has become more a part of my consciousness. But our company just started late last year. So that's been fun to kind of get people to be a part of. And we've got a bunch of club members now that it's so fun. We're going to do a tasting tomorrow, a virtual tasting right here in my kitchen. And, you know, that's our new wines that we just sent out. So it's given me another aspect of my life that's pretty cool. But it's not foreign. Like, who doesn't drink wine out on the road?
Well, it must be an interesting parallel of your music, your music fans learning about your wine and the wine fans discovering music. That's a
Yeah.
kind of really unique approach. Good for you. Congratulations. I got to imagine right now that business is going pretty good.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we can't play a concert. You know, this is where usually before all my concerts, we'll do a wine and music tasting, and I'll play a little bit and he'll go through tastings of our wines and stuff. And so, you know, all of a sudden I have no outlet for playing live. But yeah, people are buying wine for sure. We opened up our kind of cellar for everything, which usually you have to be a member to buy anything from us. But we were kind of like, okay, it's shelter in place. We're all stuck in our houses. We should do the right thing and just let people buy wine. So yeah, people have been buying a ton of wine and just going for it. So
That
it's a good
that's
thing.
that's exciting. You talked a little bit about touring. Again, for musicians like you who are used to life on the road, um, this is probably a time you sometimes take for granted, all the great places you get to go and the tour life and the hang and the airports. And even though some of it's a drag, even that part is still
Yeah.
pretty good. I'm interested to know if you have some favorite places along the way, either a great club, a great room, a restaurant that's connected to a club that just always you love going there and it feels like home for you.
There's a few places. I mean, you said we get to go to amazing places, and we're just the most spoiled people on the planet. I mean, we get to play music, and people clap for us, and they pay us money to do it, and we get to see the world like rock stars. And I will never ever take that for granted. That is just the best thing. And in the genre that I've spent most of my time in, you know, our fans become our friends, and it becomes this big family. They're not anonymous people, you know, and we see the same people again and again around the country. So it's really amazing. A couple of the last shows we played up at Jazz Alley for Valentine's Week. And we have done Jazz Alley in Seattle. We've done a residency for probably 4 to 6 nights, you know, all week of Valentine's Week. We've done it for, I think, 17 years now. It's crazy how long we've done it, and it's just awesome. And it's really inspiring. I did my live record there with the Bone Shakers. What a great place. And it was such a high for us. And to watch Seattle shut down just a couple weeks after that was just, whoa, that can't happen. Can that happen? You know, it was one of the first places to shut down. And then a couple weeks ago, I was supposed to be in St. Petersburg, which is my hometown, St. Petersburg, Florida, for the Tampa Bay Blues Festival. And I mean, it was Larkin Poe and Buddy Guy and Kingfish and us. And I mean, it was just like amazing artists, and it was going to be so much fun. And it's in the park that I grew up going to and watching bands, and we were going to be there. So we're scheduled to do the Hollywood Bowl in August. And I'm just looking at it going, no, 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 you can't take the Hollywood Bowl away. No, no.
It'll come back, and we have to believe as musicians and in the music community that it's going to be greater than it was before. It may be different,
Yeah.
absolutely, but it's the passion is going to be there. I think you said it. Music has not been canceled.
No.
We're just doing it a little differently. I have to ask. You mentioned the comment about touring like a rock star. You say that kind of in jest. You actually have toured like a rock star,
Oh, yeah.
spending a tour on the road with Aerosmith,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I was
No,
fortunate enough to see you
you were
play with
there.
Aerosmith, and I have to ask what that experience was like, and the story of how it came about is pretty interesting. You've told me about that. Share with the folks tuning in how you ended up on tour with Aerosmith.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't know where things are going to come from. You should just put yourself out there because you just don't know. Um, but I got this call from Don Was, who's one of my favorite producers, and it was a phone message. And he said, "Hey, Mindy, I need a sax track. I've got this song, old time rock and roll, and I need a rock and roll sax solo. And I'm producing this guy that's on American Idol right now. And if you do the track, they'll probably put you on the TV show. And I think 26 million people watch every week. So it'd probably be good for your career. Maybe you want to do this." Super nonchalant, phone message. I got the message. I was like, "Oh, that's fun." So I called him back. I did the session, and I played old time rock and roll live. And at the end of the song, people are starting to clap, and Steven Tyler, who was a judge at the time on American Idol, goes, "Hey, forget you. Who's your sax player?" And that just started, this whole thing. And what a cool thing. I did 2 seasons of American Idol as their featured saxophonist. And the last season being Philip Phillips, which was just awesome. And of course, he wanted saxophone on everything, which was perfect for me. And he was such a great artist. But at the end, it was the finale, the day of the finale. And I got a couple calls from the people at American Idol. I wasn't hired for the finale, even though the guy that I had played for every week was, in it. And they called me and they were like, "Oh my God, we need you down here. This was so stupid. We didn't hire you for this. You're playing on a bunch of stuff." And okay, get down here as quickly as possible. Okay, so I'm like putting on makeup. Then I get another call like, "Hey, no, we really need you down here right now. Like, just hop in your car." Like, okay. And I put down the phone. The phone rings again. This time it's Steven Tyler. And and you can't not know his voice. And so Steven Tyler was, "Hey, we got to do this right now. The time's running out. Got to do this." And I'm like, "Are you calling me to come down there for American Idol?" And he's like, "No, meet me in my trailer." No idea what's going on. So I met him in his trailer. He played me the new Aerosmith record. It wasn't out yet. And he stood just right here. And he's like, "Waddy Wachtel tells me that you can sing. Sing this." And he'd sing me just something, just crazy. And I'd sing it back to him. He was like, "All right, sing this," and he was just going back and forth with me, one foot in front of my face. And then there was like a horn thing on the record. And he's like, "Play that." So I'm playing, like, doing my thing. He was like, "You're hired. I want you on the road with Aerosmith. We're going out. We've got a new record coming out. This is going to drop such and such. The guys in the band don't know, but they'll vote on you later. And, you're in." And it's just like, wow, you kind of can't say no to Steven Tyler, can you? So it became my summer vacation with Aerosmith. And they were really cool. They let me still do the gigs that I had with my band. So I'd fly out, I'd be with Aerosmith, and I'd go do my gigs on the nights off. And Cheap Trick was opening for us, and I'm just a psycho fan for them. So I got to watch every Cheap Trick show. And Aerosmith had 40 years of material to learn, but I sure knew a lot of it. That was an amazing, amazing gig for me. Some sax players, they would be like, "What, Aerosmith?" For me, that would be top 5 for me with Springsteen and the Stones. Those are my perfect gigs. So
That's
it was
amazing. students in school learning to be musicians are told all the time, you play every gig you can. You just never know when you're going to make that one connection that'll make a difference. And this is, man,
Yeah.
living proof.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to be out there. And it really, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't all have to pay up here. It doesn't all have to be high profile. Some of those shows that I've done that have been free shows, or, just taking a chance, playing with someone new, putting yourself in an odd situation, have turned out to be life changers for me. I played on the street when I first moved to LA because I just figured I was a sax player and a singer, and I wasn't gonna go get another job. This is what I came here to do. I'll play on the street if I have to. And I did for a while. And Bobby Lyle came by, who is this unbelievable jazz keyboardist. And he stuck around and he listened to me play. And he came up afterwards and he said, "You're really good. I should hire you." And I said, "Yeah, yeah." And he took me on the road. I toured the world with him, and I did his next record, and we've played together on and off for my entire life. And playing with him and the guys in his band, they took me under their wing. They could not be more respectful and just father figures to me, and showed me the way. And things snowballed from that. So I know it doesn't sound sexy to play out on the street, or maybe it sounds like, "Yeah, I'm too good for that," or, you've got a degree from a great music college, you couldn't do that. You know what? I did, and it taught me a lot, and it got me a really cool gig.
You just never know. In fact, it sounds like a great story for a book, and you've actually written a really interesting book about how to play Madison Square Garden, which I think is a really interesting title that I think everybody would kind of gravitate towards. What was that process like of putting that book together from kind of your experiences?
Well, we all have what we do for a living, or we all have what we have experience doing. And I went to college at Berklee College of Music. It is just absolutely the most amazing music college on the planet for contemporary music. And I learned so much there. What I realized was that no music college had classes on performance. And, no one really talked about that. We talked about the business of music. We talked about theory and harmony and the mechanics of writing a song or arranging a song, how to play your instrument. But one of the most important things that we can do as artists or performers is learn how to connect to an audience. Because I think you would agree with me, we've seen amazing musicians. Like, I've seen people who are mind-blowing, but yet no one knows who they are, and they can't sell a ticket to their shows, but they're amazing. But then this other musician that you're like, they sell a bunch of tickets to their shows. Everyone wants to go see them. Why? I mean, it's not some innate thing, I think that learning who you are and learning how to connect with an audience and be on stage and play to your strengths and be real and learn to, put something together that's really you. I think it really helps people, and it can save you a lot of time because, for me writing this book, I wrote it first of all because I just thought, wow, no one's talking about this. This is what I've spent my life doing, from playing on the street to, crazy people dancing in front of me, getting wild, to being on the road with the Backstreet Boys playing to 80,000 people a night, to Duran Duran, to Aerosmith, to my band. It's like, I've seen every mistake. I've made every mistake. And I've seen everything right too. I've seen people just get it totally right and just have the audience, there in their palm. So I just figured I'd start writing it down. And eventually it was enough. I was like, this is a book. And I had two friends help me, Russ Cooper and my father as well. And it was a really fun adventure.
You're certainly in a unique position to have a great viewpoint on that. So, changing gears a little bit, I know just to your left there, you've got your beautiful silver Yamaha saxophone. Can you run through a little bit of your instrument, your mouthpiece? I know that the instrument is very close connection to you. It's your voice, it's your soul, and I know that very important part of your world. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your Yamaha and then your mouthpiece as well, because I know that's quite special too.
Well, you know, because you've lived through this with me, but I played a silver Mark Six for years, and I was just a huge proponent of the old instruments are amazing. And, you know, I watched a bunch of my heroes play those saxophones. So I just knew those were the ones. And I watched Phil Woods switch to a Yamaha. And I just thought, huh, Phil Woods has one of the best tones in the world. You know, there are people that are known for their technique. There are people that are known for their sound. He's known for both, you know, and he was just at that point, you know, he switched to a Yamaha. And I just thought, hmm. So I went into Yamaha just to try them, just to think, you know, I just want to hear what they sound like. So I brought it in with my horns, and I went into the Yamaha offices, and I ended up spending all day there. I think I was there maybe 6 or 8 hours. I was in a room, just me, and I had like 4 Yamaha saxophones, and I'd go back and forth with my Mark Six. And it was just more than my mind could take, that this Yamaha saxophone was killing my Mark Six. And I have a great Mark Six. But just the resonance, the evenness of tone from the top to the bottom of that horn, of this horn, it was just solid. It was solid as a rock. And, you know, the one thing that we all deal with our old horns is they fall apart, and it's hard to keep them together. So you can get it all put back in shape and it's amazing. But then a month later, it's like, ooh, okay, well, this key's off. And I play hard. I'm out there playing hard. My band's like a rock band, so I'm muscling this thing around. Yamaha, it can take it. So that day I walked away with the Yamaha, and I put my Mark Six in the closet. And people ask me, well, do you still record with the Mark Six? And I do not. I record everything with my Yamaha. This is a custom Z, and the custom Z is silver plated. And I gotta say, it just changed everything. You know, it gave me headroom to grow. And you want that from an instrument that, you know, you have a saxophone that you don't have to think about any limitations. Even one of the guys in my band said, you know, whoa, I hear a difference. It's beefier, or it's, you know, it cuts through better, you know. So it made a huge difference going to a Yamaha.
Yeah, it's amazing. I remember I was there in the Phil Woods days when he was making that change, and you know what? He sounded like himself. Just
Yes.
this horn allowed him to be more of himself, and it was amazing. And to see the players then that kind of followed him, uh, amazing. And so the mouthpiece is also pretty special because that's the signature Theo Wani Mindi Abair model mouthpiece, isn't it?
It sure is. Yeah, this is actually the prototype. When I was with Aerosmith, actually, Theo and I, we had become friends. He had come to my shows in Seattle. His manufacturing place is up in Bellingham, just north of Seattle. And so we became friends. Just I got to know him. And I know this sounds trite, maybe. I like him a lot. I like who he is. I like his priorities. I think he's a nice guy. He wants to leave the planet a better place. You know, he's not like the hard-nosed businessman, but he's just this beautiful soul that believes in music and sound, and is this mad scientist genius of physics of sound. And it was really fun to, you know, just talk about, what if we made the perfect alto saxophone mouthpiece that was like the mouthpiece for the people, that was easy to play, but that had amazing resonance. and that, you know, from top to bottom, it had the same tone, it had the same width. You know, when you get up to those top altissimo notes, that you don't have to just bite them off, that you don't have to, you know, change anything, that it could actually be that mouthpiece that we've all, you know, kind of clamored for and been like, what if? So we started working on it, and he would come out on the road with Aerosmith with me, and we'd sit like in some crazy place in the arena and work, you know, during sound check. And it was really awesome. And it was this ongoing kind of project that just we hadn't finished. And then my horn got stolen. And my horn was taken after a show one night, and my mouthpiece, and everything was gone. And I called Theo, and I was just like, okay, our pet project, mouthpiece for the people, the universe says we've got to finish it right now. So we got together that week, we finished it, and it's amazing. I played it for a year before we put it out on the market as my signature mouthpiece. And I just have to say, it is an amazing mouthpiece. It's just, it's got it all. And we didn't stop until we had it all. I wanted that beefy tone. I didn't want just the cut through contemporary sound. I wanted that sound that had the fullness of a Phil Woods or a Cannonball, you know, that you could get that beefy thing, but still cut through, you know, the guitars of Aerosmith. So it's exactly what I want. And I couldn't be more proud of it. I was just up there, we were just talking at Jazz Alley, and saw Theo. I went up to the place, and he looked at me and he goes, I've learned how to do a couple things since we did our mouthpiece a couple years ago that we wanted to do on this mouthpiece, but we kind of weren't able to. He goes, I've made it better. And I'm like, stop it. There's no way. Like, this is it. It doesn't get better than this. And he gave me this thing that was made out of plastic. It was red plastic like this. It's a prototype. And he's like, play this little crappy, you know, plastic mouthpiece. And it was like my mouthpiece, but better. And I was just like, what? So we're going to come out with a version 2 at some point that incorporate these kind of new things that we wanted to make happen on this one. But boy, I didn't miss until I played that prototype. And then I was like, wait, it can be easier. It can be better. It just plays itself. So I'm excited about that.
That's amazing. His products are wonderful. They're super popular, and your mouthpiece certainly for sale on Woodwind, We sell a bunch of a lot of happy sax players out there with that mouthpiece. So I have just a couple more questions for you. Listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk, Mindi. This has been just great to hear more about what's going on. You have a couple other really interesting activities outside of touring and recording. You're involved in the Recording Academy, I know, and heavily involved with that, and also very involved with a project, prettygoodforagirl.net, and kind of providing positive role models for girls and women. Tell me a little bit about that first, and then tell me more about the Recording Academy involvement.
You know, prettygoodforagirl.net came about because I wrote a song basically about my story called Pretty Good for a Girl. And you know what? I see incredible women taking over the world on a daily basis, and it's amazing. It inspires me to want to do more. And but yet every once in a while, someone comes up after my show and they shake my hand and they're like, wow, you're pretty good for a girl. And it's completely well-meaning. And every woman I've talked to has gotten exactly that. And I just have always thought it's so funny, you know. So I wrote a song about it, and just total tongue-in-cheek. And we recorded it on the East West Sessions, the record that I did, Mindi Abair and the Bone Shakers. And Joe Bonamassa sat in and just, you know, we just traded back and forth on the end of this song and had a blast. So it became this kind of blues hit for a while and was played a lot. So we play it on almost every concert. And we have t-shirts, pretty good for a girl, and bracelets, pretty good for a girl. And it's just fun to have the girl power. So I finally just saw it happening, and I just thought, I think that we just need to celebrate each other. We all, as women, love to see other women doing cool stuff. We all do. And I think it starts with us. I think it totally starts with us being fans of each other and helping each other and celebrating and supporting each other, and it's happening. And so that's why I started prettygoodforagirl.net. And I put up articles every once in a while about women that inspire me. They're not all music. One of them's Nancy Silverton that started La Brea Bakery, and she's just this amazing woman. Another woman is she's a runner, and she runs 100-mile marathons, and she's in her 40s. I was like, what? But I just think it's cool to know about women that are breaking the boundaries or doing cool stuff. It inspires me to do more. So hopefully it does for all of us. I want to be on the right side of history there.
That's great. And then how did you get started with the Recording Academy?
The Recording Academy came about actually from my friend who worked at Guitar Center, Dave Weiderman. And he was a friend, and he always took care of me whenever I needed something. As a horn player, it's not always the easiest to walk into a music store. You guys have made it much easier with Woodwind and Brasswind and Music and Arts, but back in the day, it wasn't so easy. So Dave Weiderman there would, help me out and talk to me. And I knew that he was involved with the Recording Academy. And I said, can we go out to lunch? Can I take you to lunch and just tell me what do you guys do? Because I ended up playing this women's event for Grammy Week, and it celebrated women. And I realized at the end of the concert that all the proceeds went to something called the Grammy Foundation, and that it went to education for kids, music education. And I just thought, well, could I be more involved in that? That seems amazing. So Dave told me all about it, and he goes, you should run for the Board of Governors. And it's an election from the members of the Recording Academy. And they have a Board of Governors and a Board of Trustees that makes decisions and gets more involved with charities and decides what's important for our music community and draws people together. And I just thought, yes. So I ran for the Board of Governors, and I got in. And then I became the president of the Los Angeles chapter for a few years. And then I became a national trustee for a number of years as well. And you know what? It was an amazing experience to serve, because it is the preeminent music organization that draws us all together. They have no agenda. They're here for us. And so I spent, many days, many weeks lobbying for our rights as songwriters, on Capitol Hill or with our local, Congress people. And, that power is ours to take, but it's really great when someone like the Recording Academy can give you an infrastructure that makes it easy to give back, whether it's helping kids get music education, or whether right now they've got Music Cares that is giving money and grants to musicians who aren't working because of this COVID-19 pandemic. It's like all of our gigs have gone away. How do you pay your rent? Music Cares is stepping in to help. So to be a part of that organization for so long, it was amazing. And I recommend it to everyone to really get more involved and have a voice and use your voice.
Is this a future path for you after you're done touring and recording, maybe?
I don't know. I do know that it's something I'm totally passionate about, and it's fun to do things that are good for our music community. It's like I've spent my life playing and recording and creating and, all of this. You just want it to be there for the next generation. And you want our our art form to remain strong. So, at a certain point, you want to give back. So I don't think I'll ever stop playing, or they'll have to pry me off the road because it's
Many,
so
many
much
years
fun.
down the road, right?
So much fun, yeah. But to be able to do that and have this as a part of my life, that I can go back and forth and lobby for our rights, and be a part of this community, and be a positive voice, like it's important to me.
Well, you'd be certainly beneficial to the membership. You know what you're doing and are incredibly well spoken, passionate about it. So hopefully there is a future in that for you. So last question, Mindy, how can people who want to learn more about your recordings and your future tours and your wine and music club, how can they find out more about you? Where's the best place to do that?
You can go any, social media, which is Facebook and Instagram. It's at Mindi Abair, and it's MindiAbair. And then you can go to my website, which is mindyabair.com. If you want the wine and music, you can go to reservetastings.com. Or you can get it off my website. And then we put on festivals and stuff too. We're gonna go to Italy. We have an adventure out there that we're gonna go and go to a bunch of cool wineries. And I'm gonna play music every night and have little concerts with my friends. And so we do fun stuff like that. So you can find that on my website as well, and YouTube as well. Official Mindi Abair. So yeah, keep up and hey, for now, when we're all here in our houses, come Tuesday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m.
Yep,
Eastern
on
time.
Facebook, solo saxophone with some wine talk mixed in. It's absolutely amazing. So, Mindy,
Yeah.
thanks so much for talking with us for a little while. It's great to catch up. Nothing but the best for you and your wine business, and we'll look forward to tuning in each week at Tuesday and hopefully seeing you on the road really soon.
I hope so. It's great to see you. And thank you guys for talking dorky saxophone stuff with me. I love it.
All right, stay safe, Mindy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Kurt.